A good start here for Venator, and I'm here with the chairman of Venator and CEO of Huntsman, who is no stranger to deals. So Venator IPO'd out of Huntsman, raised about $454 million. What does Huntsman plan to do with the money that it raised in this share sale?
Well, we'll take the proceeds of the IPO, which is, as you said, about $450 million. We'll also take about $700 million of debt that is on Venator, and we'll move that over to our balance sheet, and we'll pay down about $1.1 billion of debt, strengthening our balance sheet, taking risk and volatility out of our earnings and so forth. So it's a good move for both companies.
It's a move, but it's not the only move you have been making lately. Just to take us through a little bit of the backstory here, Huntsman has been agreed to be acquired by Clariant. This happened in May. As you kind of move through this process, you've seen some activist investors come in by the likes of Corvex and 40 North, not so happy with this deal. Talk us through why you're continuing to move ahead with this tie-up with Clariant, the Swiss chemical company.
Now, first of all, this is a merger of equals between the two companies, and so it's not a buy. They're not buying our stocks. This is a merger. We're putting together two companies, and through that merger, we'll have over $400 million of synergies. We'll have several $100 million of business overlap, billions of dollars actually, business overlap, and several $100 million of revenue that will be coming from that neither company enjoys today. We'll have a very strong product pipeline, geographic reach, and we'll have a very strong balance sheet. Matter of fact, when you take the balance sheet of both companies, put them together, you have a stronger balance sheet than either company individually. You have higher margins than either company individually. So this is a win-win, and we have had two of the activists that you mentioned earlier. Ironic that one of those activists was telling us 4 years ago that the acquisition of Rockwood pigments at the time would be an unmitigated disaster. We shouldn't do it. They would oppose it in every sense. Here we are 3 years later with an IPO of $3 billion company that's been created.
So when you do think about their argument, what are you going to say to shareholders to convince them to vote yes for this deal? That's the linchpin right now. You need this shareholder approval.
Yes, we do need the shareholder approval on both sides. And after having met with most of the large shareholders on the Clariant side and on the Huntsman side, we see very, very strong support. And I think that as people better understand the fundamentals, stronger balance sheet, higher margins, less volatility, less risk, greater global reach, this is a value accretive deal from day one. We're not over leveraging our assets, we're not destroying any value anywhere. Both companies have almost exactly the same margins today, and we have an opportunity to lift that margin even higher.